Joining me now is Ross Beaty, the chairman of Equinox Gold, the founder and chairman emeritus of Pan American Silver, the founder of Lumina Group and Lumina Gold, where he's the largest shareholder. I'm out of breath now. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you, Mark. I'm just a founder.
You're a founder, and you certainly have had a lot of success over the years. As we know, we just had a great chat. You were the keynote guest. Now, let's talk about this company. It's the largest gold development project in Ecuador, top 15 gold development in the world. As I said, you're the largest shareholder. What are the main factors that really make this appealing to you?
Yeah, so Lumina Gold has this huge low-grade gold deposit in Ecuador, and it's appealing to me because there's no major fatal flaw. There's no fatal flaw to development. So what we've done in the Lumina Group in the past is we've taken these big projects, we've de-risked them by drilling them, doing economic studies, making sure there's no social impediments, there's no land impediments, and now we're looking for a large company that can build this into a mine. It's not something we do, we're just a development or exploration development play, taking that part of the value equation, trying to capture it, and then letting the big part taken up by a producing company that can build a mine. It's going to cost $1 billion to build a mine here. That's more than we want to raise, and we just want to basically move this to someone who can take it and then take our capital and do it again. And we've done it now. This will be, I think, the 8th or 9th time we've done it in our group. It's very satisfying to do it. It's not easy. It's taken us, this has been now almost 8 years, or 8 years I think, since we got going on this project in Ecuador. But it's really reaching the end of the line, and we should be able to pass it on to a major company sometime this year, I hope.
Right, okay, you said it will be bought. I'll come full circle back to that in a while. But so you've done a 36,000 meter drill program. You're leading up to a pre-feasibility study sometime in Q2. And so do you think you'll be able to significantly add to the resource base?
Yeah, the resource base is going to be added to, but the big thing you do, and this is one of the reasons why these type of companies at this stage, they kind of flatline because you're not really adding a huge amount of new resources. You're really proving up what you already know is there. So you drill it out on wide-spaced holes, you then do a preliminary economic assessment. If that indicates commercial value, then you fill in the holes. You do infill holes, a whole bunch more drilling, but it doesn't actually add too much to the resource. What you do is you make the resource more confident. You go from inferred to indicated and measured, and then you move it into a resource when you finish an economic study. That's just the progression of these things. It costs a lot of money, takes a lot of time. Investors hate it because it's kind of a dead period, but it really is tangibly good when you're trying to sell something to a major company. That's what they want to see.
For sure. Now, Ecuador reopened the mining in 2014. I know you've been down there. What's the environment like, and what's the company's relationship and your relationship like with the local communities, governments?
Yeah, we're in a good place in Ecuador. It's a low-lying area, not very far from Guayaquil, which is a big deep water port. And it's an area with almost no people living in it, close to a town. We have good relations with the town. Ecuador has been great. To be honest, it's been a great place to work. The current president's pro-mining. There's a couple of big successes in the country with Lumina Gold, Mirador mining, which is a big copper mine opened up by a Chinese company. So it's a really good place to mine. And you notice that because in contrast to Ecuador, so many places in Latin America have gone from good to bad over the last 5 years. And Ecuador really shines right now. So we're really looking forward to it. And a lot of companies realize that. Every single major company in the world is there. Newcrest, BHP, Anglo American, Glencoe, everybody's there.
And so you've made it very clear you want to repeat your process and your successes of the past. You want to sell this company. Is there ever, based on your experience, is there ever kind of a sweet spot? Is Lumina Gold in the sweet spot right now?
Well, to be honest with you, right now the sweet spot is anything but gold. There's so much froth in the lithium space, for example, the copper space, nickel. I mean, I could go down the periodic table. Gold itself hasn't been as popular in those compared to those other commodities, but it still has its own fans, and it's the equities that are cheap rather than the gold price. The gold price right now is doing pretty well, and it's shaping up to have a pretty good year. I predict gold's going to sail through its previous high of $2,000 an ounce this year and go to new heights. But the equities are cheap as borscht. They're just beaten up. And Lumina Gold is an example of that. Lumina Gold, for a company with you know, we'll have close to 20 million ounces of gold when we're finished this work. Commercial, no fatal flaws, now pretty much in a box wrapped up with a bow that a major can come and acquire. and yet the stock's got a $200 million market cap. It's just crazy. So it's one of those things, deep discount, great value for any investor buying today. Sometimes these things happen. That's the way of the world. We don't have 100 companies lined up to look at it, but we've got enough that I confidently expect we're going to get a deal done this year. So that's our objective.
So you've grown the resource more than 425% since, I want to say, the last 5 years or so. And yet you've got this disconnect. So how do you explain it?
I know. It's the way of the world. The market is like that right now. Metal prices across the board have gone up, and equity valuations have gone down. It's weird. It's not going to last. Markets tend to revert to more the norm. And it's going to change when one of two things happens. Either the gold price really does go high, it goes through the previous high, because that'll bring in a lot of new money into the space. And number two, when investors realize just the bargains in the space, particularly the juniors. It'll start at the seniors, they're pretty well priced right now, then the mid caps are still cheap relative to historical precedent. They're going to move, and then the big move will be made by the juniors. And you're going to see some really great moves across the board in the beaten up sectors like gold. And Lumina is probably going to be one of those.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. We'll look forward to news about Lumina coming down the road. Thanks, Ross.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ross Beaty, founder of Lumina Gold.